Just a tint. You just.
Yes, sometimes I don't see myself as being in the wrong.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I don't see myself as being in the wrong. Kama hauna ndaivu.
Ndaivu.
Na wanaume wananyonga ndevu hivi ni nini una offense?
I dilewa mito.
Ati wasichana needs to be real. They accept. Pia nyinyi wanaume, accept yourself. Kama hauna ndevu. Au watu wenye wanakuwa ndevu ya hivi kabox. Una offense nini bro?
Ndaivu.
Hauna ndaivu.
Ukana nzaivu mom. So gawie watu.
Nimewapatia wakakataa kuchukua.
Hi guys and welcome to today's video. Thank you guys so much for the love. On the last video that we did, people really enjoyed having you back.
Thank you. Yeah. Me pia nawapenda wow. Huh? Yeah.
Okay. In the spirit of continuing these topics, today I want us to discuss people's upbringings and how they influence their character as grown-ups.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want you to tell us a general overview of the vibe of your house, how you guys grew up, and how that has affected the kind of person or the kind of man that you have become.
Oh, you think I'm a man, huh?
A man?
Oh, yeah.
Stop.
Okay, so in my house, well, my mama raised me very well, took me to church, taught me about God. My mom was a strict parent, authoritative, not authoritarian. It's the difference, yeah?
What's the difference between authoritative and authoritarian?
I don't know.
Right, baby.
I think an authoritarian is like a dictator. But my mom is authoritative, meaning that if it's good for you, we will have it. But if it's not, it's her way is the best way, and we can discuss yours, and then we'll find out how it fits into mine.
Okay.
But that's not a dictator. A dictator is her way or the highway. Yeah.
Okay.
So
she gave you options, like she gave you leeway to be able to express yourself, and
I think, but when I was much older is when we started really having our conversation in how I want anything or that. But as a child, my mom believes that you show a child how they should grow, and then they will not depart from those ways. That's scripture.
And that's biblical.
That's biblical, yes. So that's how my mom raised. That's rain.
He's
singing.
He's singing. It's okay. Let's finish.
Yeah. So and yes, there was punishment by the cane.
Like traditional ndakuchapa, like nakuchapa.
Nikuwekelea wa vizuri sana.
Wangukie meoni.
Wakukie meoni. Yeah. And my mom never believed in time out. Time out ni nini?
That's how white man's concept.
Yes, time out. First of all, we used to live in a single house first, and then one bedroom. So time out nenda wapi? Tuko nawe hapa.
Hapo tuko.
Ninakuwekelea na wewe karare.
Okay, so how did you having a strict authoritative parent influence you and the kind of person that you've become right now?
Structure. It's given me structure. Children need a lot of structure when they're growing up because their minds can easily have them do anything.
Okay.
So that made me understand what I should do, when I should do it, and how I should do it. And that's given me a way of living.
Yes, you're going to structure again.
Yeah, way of living. So that means that I am naturally a punctual person because she was strict on time. Baba, shida yako na time inakuanga wapi?
Mimi sinanga shida ya time. Mbona unaniingililia?
Mbona una feel
unataka kwangu kemea?
Umeingiliwa? Acha nichukue. sip
Okay.
some tea.
Let me ask you, what is your opinion about the traditional way of discipline versus timeout? Do you think timeout actually has a place in our society? Okay, I know it actually does, but in comparison to the traditional one.
Timeout works for disciplined children.
Okay.
If your child is one to listen and to understand consequence, timeout can work there. And it also helps to contain emotions. Your child can go haywire. If their emotions are all over the place, they're angry, they're mad, they're disappointed, all of those things together.
Throwing tantrums.
Tantrums. Timeout will help your child to calm down and understand how they're feeling, and then they can come and articulate to you how they're feeling.
Okay.
Then so you have a conversation after timeout, and you tell them, I'm putting you on timeout because of this and that.
Okay.
So get in there, think about how you feel, why you're feeling that way, and then come we talk after some time. So don't put a child on timeout and not come back and talk.
So there has to be an aspect of communication.
Yes.
But I feel like with the timeout, and especially for me, initially, I really struggled with it. I think because also growing up, it was kiboko, lalachi. And I think for me, it was such a foreign concept, because I was like, okay, a child just goes to the corner and thinks about what they're doing. And then when we actually started implementing it, and all of our kids, anaenda hapo kwa kona anaanza kucheza, anaanza self entertainment, and I'm like, wow. And no, there were no toys there. Ushaona mtu mwenye anaweza ji entertain by themselves, like singing songs, like just being happy. And I'm like, that was not the purpose of this.
Blake would go and entertain himself. Blair would fall asleep on the wall.
Same with Jeremy. Yeah. At you hold your ears. Alisha.
This is not working.
Okay, so for me, I also grew up with a really strict parent. As most, I think, of my audience knows, I didn't have my mom around, and you didn't have your dad around. Yeah. I think that's why we have also really been intentional in terms of our parenting, because we have both grown up in single parent households. So growing up, I grew up with my dad. He was super strict, like hiyo ilikuwa dictatorship. Hata hakuna nini ama ati authoritarian. Ilikuwa dictatorship, like it's my way ama wendo wish you go pale nataka. And looking at it from now, my perspective, me as an adult, how it has really influenced my character as a woman and even as a mother, is I'm now more aware not to be so strict with my kids. Yeah. And I'm not trying to take away from anything, because in a lot of ways it also gave me structure. A little backstory for you guys. During, I think, the period when I was in class 4 to class 6, like before I started class 6, I used to run away from home multiple times with my sister. I think no, even before then, like I was really small up to nakumbuka class 6 no nikachana hiyo maneno. And it was because my dad was so strict with us, and we used to feel like anywhere else is better than here, you know. And in it also I think I've never really sat down and addressed it, but there were also aspects of trauma that were as a result of that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Being away from home. Expect security.
And not even that, but seeing as even the setting and the structure of the home doesn't really provide you security, and you're always on your toes, and you're always, when are we gonna get in trouble next, and about what? Because you could literally get in trouble about anything. So I think growing up, it really shaped me in a way that in some situations I would be very timid, because I wasn't used to my voice being heard. It was such a foreign concept to me when we would come into a relationship. Mimi mistreated. I grew up being mistreated. You will hear my voice. And it was something that was so fundamental to me, because
I've been a little mystery.
No, like when we would get into arguments, and I'd be like, "No, you have to listen to me." Okay, obviously not in that voice, and like a more, sexy voice, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know.
Ene? Nah. Takula meron. And I think that for me, it really shaped me, woman that I was. And the one thing that I think is so significant for me to mention is that initially when we first got our twins, is that I had actually the same character. I would get angry out of nothing. I would get mad at Ian for like days. I wouldn't talk to him, thinking I'm teaching him a lesson.
But Kumbe, he has taken a moment to enjoy
yourself. You're teaching yourself a lesson, okay? Because he does not care. He will come home like he used to. He would come home, and then I've been brooding all day by myself, like, and then he would enter, and then he would look at me, and then he'd be like, "Hi, Bobby." And mind you, we've had a leave my ear alone.
Angalia kwa nini usikii?
Why are you like this?
Okay.
Why are you like this? And I remember you would come in and then you would say hi to me, and then I would not say hi back. And then this guy had the audacity.
And you have the audacity. And you know what? You have the audacity. So you have the audacity to disrespect your wife, eh?
To tell me, oh, bado umejam, haya. And he would go and eat and sleep like nothing happened. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dream of heavenly things.
Because you know why I used to do that? Because that's how I saw it in my house.
Yeah.
When my dad would get mad at us, he would silent treatment. He wouldn't talk to us. It would now just be like, you know what, just jipatini shughuli. So I think growing up, that sort of became
I got the same from my dad.
Your dad was also the silent treatment, guys?
No, my dad is, if you get pissed off at him, life continues.
Like nothing happened. And that's one of the most annoying things. Guys, comment down below if your partner is like that. Am I your friend? Am I your sister? Because it is so annoying for you to catch feelings about somebody, and then they can't. They don't care less. They couldn't care less.
Let it go. Toa kwa chest. Angusha kila kitu mwaka.
Cameron. That joke still gets. So initially when we first got Blake and Blair, I remember I still had the same anger. So I would get angry at them and snap at them, because subconsciously, and that's what we don't realize as adults,
They are so tiny.
they were so cute. They were so tiny and so cute. And I remember even Jambi used to tell me, hey, nah, you've grown, because that time you used to snap at them. And I'm like, gosh, I didn't realize it. Like, I had to take a back seat and one day catch myself and be like, hey, you know what? I know how it feels for me. I know how it felt for me at that time to be able to be disciplined in this kind of way of snapping, of getting angry, of not being given a chance to be a child and to make mistakes and to learn from them. And I remember I had to catch myself, and even till now I'm still learning that that's not a proper way to discipline the children and to be able to show them, because subconsciously that's what registers to them that is how you discipline your kids. So if you don't catch yourself as an adult, even in how you have been raised up and in your upbringing, then subconsciously, even when you get kids, because that has been ingrained in you, it becomes how you discipline your children. Because you saw your mom or your dad throwing things at your siblings or at you, and then now subconsciously you become like that. So that's how it has sort of molded me in terms of the kind of person that I am. Yeah. And it really needs for you to catch yourself, you know, like ushajita meeting and you're like, hey, you know what, this is not how I want my life to be and how I want my parenting to be. Because on one hand, guys, I am a very structured human being. Leave this one who is talking about structure. I am the structured one. Okay. I am the structured one.
Yeah.
And then Ian is the gentle parent. Oh Baba, come
Mimi mishaita mtu baba hapa.
Come here, Baba. Oh, Baba. Oh, it's okay. Oh, don't worry, Baba. Oh, Baba. And me, I'm the one who I have to go and start disciplining. And it's also something that I think I've come to realize when it comes to parenting, that we have to now together form a team, a united front. Because if I am the disciplinarian and Ian is Baba, then I become bad cop. No, I'm just saying your upbringing, it's really opposite of how you are as a parent. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Like it's like literally polar opposites of how you were brought up versus how you parent right now.
What happened to me, I rarely let it out because I believe in talking, yeah, to a child. But ikifika point that nimekuongelesha sana, let a Mr. Green, let a Scorpion.
Mr. Green.
Yeah, I don't really think that it's really nice like that, especially if a child understands. Lakini saa zingine your child is understanding, and the worst part is that they understand
and they still choose to. Okay.
But of course, how cute the children are has really made me become someone who talks. You feel sorry for them. Big guys, mama anakujanga na balancing tears. Unamwongelesha na balancing tears tu zinaanza tu, just soften up inside.
Oh, like a marshmallow. Okay, how has your upbringing affected who you are? Because you know there's different aspects of people. So how has it affected how you are when you're angry, or the kind of personality that you have? Because you know you really know somebody's character when they're angry.
Yes.
Like everything that has been bottled inside, that's when it comes out. So if it's the vulgar words, if it's the violence, that's what will really make it come out.
Me, I can easily snap at somebody.
You don't say.
I do say.
You don't
I
say.
I can easily snap at somebody even without knowing that I'm angry. Yeah, and by the way, if you ask me, I was not angry. I just gave a smart mouth remark.
This mouth of yours.
Imetoka mbali, by the way. Imetoka mbali. I used to be bad. Wow.
It used to be really, really bad. Like Ian was that kind of guy who he will give you a smart comment and you won't even have a comeback because you're like, wait, what?
Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Like it will destabilize you a bit. Like, what did he just say? Never be used to have a smart mouth. But I was like, Machali was haba handy when you're not Johnny were handy.
I apologize on behalf of all of them, all of us.
Let me ask you, how do you think your upbringing had anything to do with you having a smart mouth?
Yes.
How so?
This is it. There was a point in my younger years, before maybe 17, 16, I was not to rebuttal anything that my mom said.
It was my way. It's actually my way or the highway.
It's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
So until then is when I used to be quiet. My mom says this, I kept quiet. So when we started having conversations, I had bottled up for the years and sharpened every response that I ever had.
But sharpen your living.
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged tongue now.
So that came, and also brace yourself. Having gone to Alliance,
people who have gone to Alliance will always find they will always find a way to tell you that I went to Alliance, as though you didn't go to high school. Wow. Congratulations, Alliance alumni. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I received.
Si wengine tulienatuma shule tu, you know.
And happy. Wenda ulikuwa hapo cabs.
Eating cabbages.
Nice. So, there people talked smart.
They also had a smart mouth.
Yes.
Oh, that's where you now sharpened it nicely.
Very nicely.
Oh.
Now let me tell you about smart people, and then you cut out violence. Because in other high schools, bullying was violent. But in Alliance, bullying was intellectual.
Oh, that is deep. Bullying can also be intellectual. Like somebody can bully you with just their words. They don't even have to beat you up. Intellectual bullying.
So you just become smarter by the responses that prefects give you, or from fours, or the smart ones in school, the responses they give. You just learn language like that, and eventually you find yourself that you have a smart mouth.
And I remember even when it came to like funkies, I would always not like the guys from Alliance, or Starehe was okay. Alliance, or where else?
Starehe, they're humble.
Alliance and St. Mary's. And if you're from those schools, I'm sorry, it was just what I felt in my year.
Aki Saints.
I used to feel like you guys had so much pride. Like, nini, si tuko na the same syllabus. Oh, I'm from Alliance.
But we grasped it differently. That is the point.
As you can see, I'm still dealing with it. So I have I need some time to be able to overcome and get over all this. I'm from Alliance. So I found that you guys were so feel like you're the creme de la creme. Oh, what fat? No,
we were indoctrinated into
we just fat intelligence. Wow, intelligence.
Oh yeah, when you're coming in from one in Alliance, you're indoctrinated into that pride of being in Alliance.
I think there's a good sort of pride that like you're happy and you feel blessed to be part of
that school.
But then there's another bad kind of pride where you feel like everybody else is less than, and I feel like a lot of people from Alliance usually have that. I'm from Alliance.
That believe it or not, that feeling would come when you've joined Form 1 and you're being intellectually bullied. At the same time, you're being instilled pride. So it'll mix and become negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
I usually wonder, do you guys usually know that it's not a good thing?
And when you're in the world, you don't know that you're perishing.
And you're not of the world.
Yeah. You don't know. So that's
you see how I put that in there? Like slash. Okay, let me ask you, because I think we've also had this conversation before.
Yeah.
How you having a smart mouth, even in your place of work, has sort of shifted the dynamic. Do you feel like it's something that you are still working on?
Yes, it's something that I'm still working on, especially if I'm facing a certain kind of pressure.
You have a bit of a smart mouth.
Yeah, if I'm facing someone, especially if it's a pressure that I already know that I need to deliver this thing, and then comes someone else coming to tell me as if I don't know. I have the Holy Spirit has been holding me. Yeah.
So let me ask you, how have you been dealing with it? Because I think over the years, because it's something that it used to be so prevalent, and especially the first time we met, I even used to say to myself, oh, we're just having fun. But at a long term, I was just like, because of your smart mouth, I was like, here. They just have answers, like straight up answers, and they're not just answers, they're daggers. Pew 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 with a chopper. I was like, wow.
I tend to think more before I speak. So I think about what I'm just about to say.
You have to catch yourself.
If I ever snap, it's because I never thought. So yeah. So and then later on, I think about what I said, and I'm like, I didn't say nicely. Perhaps it had truth, but it was not portrayed in a loving way. Yeah.
Delivery. Yeah. We're also working on delivery, because you can do better. It's bringing back all the memories of how you have delivered some things in a really bad way. Like, puppy, I'm not gonna tell you how to drive. I've already taught you enough. What? Bruv. I've never driven before. So Charlie, we're Alliance. But let me ask you, how do you think you can improve? And if you are looking at it from an outsider's perspective, a lot of times we usually have the answers within ourselves.
Yeah.
So other than you looking back, do you think also that you have a little bit of a denial? Just a tint.
Yeah, sometimes I don't see myself as being in the wrong.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I don't see myself as being in the wrong. Yeah. And those are the times I snap. I don't see myself as being wrong, and so it takes for me to consider that yes, I was wrong there, and then I respond. If I don't see myself as wrong, then I respond. I respond with authority of someone who is right, and then it's rude.
Yeah.
Because you're wrong.
Yes.
Why are you talking smack? Yeah.
Okay, I like that. What about how has your upbringing influenced the kind of person that you are when you're happy? First of all, when Ian is happy, maybe you've gotten whatever you are looking for. Maybe a project has gone through, a deal has come through. What does Ian happy look like? And especially when you compare it to your upbringing.
I praise myself.
Ooh, like how? Like pat on the back?
Yes. My mom always does the same thing.
Rainy. Hi.
My mom always does the same thing. When she's happy and she's done something good, she'll say, unaona vile mimi ni mnoma. Unaona vile mimi ni mkali. Mimi si kidogo. Mimi ni manyanga. So it's the same thing that I
like
have
that.
been. Yes. So I praise myself when I have done something right. And I'm happy. I also like someone else to be happy with me. And if we can go out and be happy together for a walk maybe.
Ian's love language is just anything out of the house. Mtoke tu kwa nyumba hata kama mtaenda kutembea, just get out of the house. That's his love language. Just and me and my homebody, I just want to stay.
I feel like walls restrict the happiness.
But I feel like this is calming. This is familiar.
Yeah. I used to be there, and I don't like it. It's not a nice place to be. When you're in a familiar place. For me, being in the house restricts my creativity because when I go out and I see things moving, my mind also moves. But being in the house, I feel like, okay, now what do I do? But they can. My employer asked me, go home, sit for 5 minutes without doing anything, and tell me how it is. I've never finished the 5 minutes.
Your mind is
My mind just wants to do what well. I think about this, think about that, think about this. But usually the first minutes of my prayer time, it's challenging just to remove thoughts.
all the voices.
To remove them. If I, it's why I avoid praying in English or in a language I understand. Because I'll end up praying for the things that I'm thinking about instead of the things that I am supposed to pray for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So would you describe yourself in relation to your upbringing when you were in poverty?
I was an irritable person.
Okay.
I was an irritable person. When I didn't have money, or sometimes when I don't have the resources to do what I want, I become irritable because of frustration.
Okay.
And it is something that I've really worked on, and I realized. And I think we both realized it. We worked on it when we were living in the Mara.
Me? Irritable?
Yes.
Stop
we used to
it.
fight so much when we don't have money for some things.
Me?
Yeah.
You don't have money for the melon? Really? I really don't remember that aspect.
We did. We sat down and we thought about it, and we said we have to have abundance mentality because poverty mentality is making us fight over trivial matters. Yeah. So it that usually comes around. That used to come around to me. But now I have figured that I should note that because I want something and I don't have the resources currently, that doesn't mean I will never have the resources for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have it right now doesn't mean you'll never have it.
Yes.
It's the exact same lesson that my uncle told me. He told me yesterday when we were talking. He was like, don't ever look down on somebody just because they're not where you think that they're supposed to be, or they're not at the level where you feel like when people of this level only deserve my respect, because things can change very, very easily, and just because they don't have it right now doesn't mean that they don't have the potential or that they'll get it in the future.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What about in riches? And
this I don't think I got this from my mom.
Sorry, the reason I'm cutting you off. The reason also, guys, that we're trying to look at these different scenarios is to be able to also shed a light on how our upbringing influences how we act as people in different situations, because even in a lot of what you've said, I've realized that it's a mirror of your upbringing. It's a mirror of what you saw.
Yes.
And some of it was a mirror, and then now you actively pushed to change it if you didn't like it. You understand what I mean? A lot of our upbringing and how we behave as adults and as human beings is what we see, not necessarily what we hear. Sometimes what we hear, but in a lot of what we see. And yeah, so you were saying in riches?
Let me finish on poverty, because I just remembered something. When my mom did not have money for something, and then you destroyed something else, you would receive it. You would receive.
Yeah.
Unaharibu na unajua kuna pesa. You must be careful about the things that you have, because you don't know when you're going to get another one. It's that uncertainty that keeps on coming, and that anger really creeps in when you don't have.
And when maybe the finances or the abundance is about to run out, like you're on your last maybe 1,000, 2,000 shillings.
You start holding things back. You don't really spend on anything that you would like to have, because you don't know when the next one is going to come. So you become miserly towards the end of your money.
And I think that's a human thing.
It is.
And I think that it's important to say that there's a difference between you being prudent and you being wise with your resources, and then you just being a spendthrift, and also a difference between you having an abundance mentality of, okay, I have this certain need, I have this money. Yes, it might be the last money that is in the bank account, but having the mentality that more is coming. And this is something that when I was younger, I always used to quarrel Dee about so much. And I was like, Dee behaves like my mom. Dee is one of those people who she will spend, kesho ijipange. And it's like, what?
Yeah, come back home on zero and you're happy.
And the one thing that I have really noticed about her, and about, apologies guys for the noise outside, and that I've really noticed, even especially in her finances, she has such an abundance mentality that she never lacks.
Yes.
Separate from the fact that she's very giving, she's a very, like, she's always giving. So even in that just aspect, I feel like she'll always receive.
Yeah.
But also she has always had an abundance mentality, and it's something that she learned from my mom. My mom, even if she has 20 bob, atenda maybe akule sweet na hiyo 20 bob, na najua jioni akuta pesa ya nyanya na vitunguu, for example. And guess what? That money would come.
Yeah.
That money would come. I feel like in our society we have this thing, universe attract, which I find is complete nonsense. Because what do you mean nonsense at universe? No, it's God Almighty. Anyway, let me not get in my feelings. This whole at universe, if you believe in that, I'm sorry, but for me it's just like, no, we have to acknowledge the creator of that universe, because you can't put God and the universe on one level. How can you put the creation and the creator at the same level? Like, no.
People actually are silly enough to put the universe above themselves.
How?
The universe is our servant.
Yes.
It's God.
You are the God's small g.
Angels, things. It's people don't understand that the universe does what you say.
Whatever
everything
you speak
that comes to you is because you said it. Is not the universe conspiring.
And I feel like we should really do an episode on this. And guys, if you're interested in it, please let us know, like, about how I manifested this, and the universe conspired. It's not the universe, it's you have spoken a word, and that word is life, that word is flesh. In the spirit, we're being told, in the spirit you can actually bump into your words, like they're living things.
Yes.
So if you say, for example, I am broke, that word will go out and make sure that it performs whatever it is that you have said it, because
it's out here making sure you're broke.
Yeah, because essentially when God created the universe and everything that is in it, he didn't intend the words to be used as communication. He intended the words to be used for creation. So whatever you say, that is what is gonna go and build. So it's a really foreign concept, and it's really wrong to be able to say that, oh, the universe conspired. No, it's you by your own words. You have said. The Bible says that the power of life and death is in your tongue. So whatever you say. So if you say, hey, and I get sick so much when it gets to this season, you're gonna get sick.
A sentence called "I get sick so much" is out here getting you sick.
Yeah, so you have to really be careful with your words, and it's something that even us intentionally we have really had to catch ourselves, and even people around us. Sometimes I have a friend who keeps saying I'm broke, and I've told her so many times, please stop saying I'm broke, especially in front of me. I usually just feel like slapping her. I'm just like, what do you mean you're broke? I don't care how much you have in your bank account. Keep saying it. Guys, if I tell you, we kept saying thank you God for our car until
Manifest.
Like, it's something that I'm not just saying out of a mere teaching that I had somewhere. Like, it's
experience.
It's experience. You know, nobody can ever take away from you experiential knowledge. Like, like this is white. You know this is white. Cortex, talk to your girl, okay? That's free marketing. For example, if you know this is white, yeah? If somebody comes and tells you, no, this is blue, you know that you know in your mind, and
you had an interaction with white.
You know it's white. Like, so how can somebody come and convince you otherwise that no, this is blue? When you have that experiential knowledge when it comes to faith, and when it comes to what happens when you implement faith, and when it actually comes to, you know, to manifest from the spiritual, because everything starts from the spiritual to the physical. Nobody can convince you otherwise. So if you believe in the universe, and I know it's a mob mentality that a lot of people have, like, oh, you know, we hear, oh, the universe conspired, oh, I am manifesting.
It's also a rebellion from accountability, because they know they can't be accountable to the universe, but to God. But to God, you have to be accountable. Yeah.
So I think it's a very foreign concept that before you start engaging and believing in such things, like, just always do your homework. And that's one thing that I've really learned. Always do your homework before you start subscribing to certain patterns and certain beliefs from certain people, and yet you don't know the foundational thing about it. Because this whole manifestation and the believing in the universe, it's just taking away God's glory. Essentially, that's what it is. Because the universe doesn't help you breathe. The universe doesn't give you blessings. The universe doesn't help you get home at night and prevent accidents. The universe doesn't bless your children. It's not the universe. It's God Almighty. And you have to give credit where it's due.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Me is kenga universe is kenga tu.
Kuchape bare na hiyo universe, yeah.
Angukiwa na meron. Anyway, so the last one.
In riches?
No. Oh, have you said in riches? You're saying in riches.
Yeah, I was going there. It is probably something that I didn't learn how to save, because
is that also because of your upbringing?
Yes.
When you grew up, you
I didn't learn how to save. Yeah, I didn't learn how to save. I think my mom did more sacrifices that I didn't see, and I came to know them much later on. So we never talked about money. We talked about taking care of what you have, but not about growing it. And then I learned later on that there was circles to join, then chamas. Yeah, I learned that later on. So when I got money, I spent fast. I didn't pay myself fast. I spent fast. And that's something also that I learned from my dad, is that money comes and goes. So, and you can make this amount of money in this amount of time, so don't worry about it, spend it.
Okay,
but he's also good at saying sometimes.
I don't really want to say that about myself. I usually say money comes and comes.
It comes.
And it goes. Hey. Come here. You come here, you'll be my servant.
Yes.
Money comes and comes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so in terms of accountability to yourself, do you feel like, but I understand with your mom, like, there wasn't the extra to save. No, she was a single mom.
Everything went to spending to make sure that we have food on the table, we're in school, we have uniforms. With the small salary that she had, my woman did miracles.
I feel like your mom has really also shown me the dedication Like your mom and my dad are usually like I look at them and I'm like, wow, even though they went through such rough patches and they had to sacrifice so much, it really instills in me that dedication that, you know what, they would literally do anything for their children.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to see.
Absolutely. And it's something that we have really taken up on ourselves also.
Yeah.
And we make sure that they have what they need, what they require, and going over to get them what they want.
Over and beyond.
Yeah.
Hey, sacrifice is one of those things that I always just say, hey, God continue to bless the present parents, you know, the parents who decided to be there.
Yeah.
I really love that. What about in grief?
Never dealt well with grief.
How when you grew up, what was the conversation around grief when somebody died?
My mom was always there for people who are grieving. She would attend funerals, wakes, and I never really got to understand maybe death. I never, when I was young, I didn't understand. So I would go and I'd find people sad, and I would just look at people, and I did not understand where people are going to when they die. The concept.
How old was this?
As early as 5, 6. Yeah, my mom would go with me because I was the only child to my mom before 6 years old. So we would go everywhere.
You and I even met at 6 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 7. So we would go everywhere with my mom, and I would experience everything she was experiencing. So whenever we'd go to a wake, I'd find people sad and people crying, and my mom would comfort them. And I did not know how to deal with it. Yeah, I didn't know how to deal with it. And I think up until today, I don't know how to deal with grief when somebody else has been bereaved. I don't have the words ever. I know you can't ever have the words to comfort someone, but I don't even know how to say I'm sorry because I don't know what they're going through. And that happened once in my life, that I knew somebody close to me who passed away, and I still did not know how to deal with it.
Yeah, and you regretted.
And I didn't know how to deal with it, and another one happened. Yeah, I couldn't understand grief.
But let me ask you, because you're saying from what you used to see with your mom, you saw her deal with it. So how come that wasn't mirrored like for you? Is it because she was a woman and you're a man, and you know there's this toxic masculinity of men are not supposed to cry, men are not supposed to show emotion? Like why didn't that translate for you?
My mom, by the way, didn't raise me with that emotional toxicity.
You're really looking for that word.
It's what? Toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
My mom did raise me with that one. Yeah. Probably a few times here and there, should have told me, you're a man, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry.
I don't think toxic masculinity even sometimes comes from the parents. Sometimes it's in the interactions with the boys at school, with the men that you see. Oh, maybe you meet your uncle and then they see you like emotional, like a lot of times it's not even
get that from uncles.
Yeah, with like your primary caregiver, but it's in your circle.
And get that from uncles and older cousins, but it was too late. I'd already learned how to show my emotions because I live with my mom. Yeah, and I spent majority of my mom's friends are ladies, so I spent a lot of time with ladies, so I understood how to show emotion and sometimes when not to show it.
Okay.
Like you should not show emotion for people who don't care about you. Those places you need to be very strong. And then so I don't know why I didn't pick that up from my mom. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can, if something happens to someone, I would be there for them. If maybe there's a contribution needed, I would maybe send a condolence message. I now know the words not to say.
Like?
I understand how you feel.
Because you do not understand nothing.
Even if, let's say, like your mom passed away and someone else's mom passes away, you don't understand how they feel.
Yeah, it's
not the same.
It's
mom.
always
it's
different.
not the same relationship. You're not the same person.
Yeah.
So you can never understand how someone else feels.
And perhaps their grief is even more than yours because they had a closer relationship.
Yeah.
So how I grieve is not how you.
Maybe they didn't have a relationship.
Yeah, and
that's
they're
the reason why they're grieving.
They're grieving a lot.
Lost.
Could have been relationship.
So you can never understand how somebody else feels. Two, I usually strive not to say, "May his soul rest in peace," or "May her soul rest in peace," because I don't know what you did in this planet and how you're going to be judged. So if it's a
set direction where you're gonna go.
I don't know if you believed in Jesus and if you're gonna make it to heaven. I don't know. So me saying "May your soul rest in peace" is me being untruthful to myself and being untruthful to the situation. Perhaps you never believed in Jesus Christ. So when I'm saying "May your soul rest in peace" and your soul is being tormented in hell, I'm probably saying that to make you feel good, and that is what I would not like to say to make you feel good. I would say my condolences.
I feel like my condolences usually is so.
It's plain.
It doesn't have like emotion. It's very aloof. Like just
so
my condolences. Like,
I usually say that may God give you peace and help you to understand everything that is happening in good time. And that's the one thing that you really need is peace. May God comfort you.
And the family as well.
Yeah, because he comforts those who mourn.
Yeah.
And that's what I usually say. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So as we wrap up, I want us to talk about how, because now we've looked at it from a practical perspective, yeah? I want us to look at it from a biblical perspective of what the Bible says about how to raise children in terms of characters and how that will influence what kind of adults that they become. Okay, is Proverbs 22:6, and I think this is like one of the most widespread or most known verses when it comes to upbringing and especially of children. It's a verse that says, "Teach your children or raise your children up in the way that they should go, and they will never depart from it."
When they grow, they will never depart from it.
Yeah. And I think this cuts across the board in everything, whether you choose to teach them violence, whether you choose to teach them kindness, whether you choose to teach them compassion, however you raise them up, that's the way that they'll go. And it really takes an intentional adult to be able to catch yourself and to say, and that's also one of those ways of making sure you deal with trauma. I think, but I don't know, I may be wrong, but I think I was one of the first ones in my family to really confront the kind of trauma that we went through as children, and just to be able to try and overcome it. And it's been hard because a lot of these traumas they affect not only you and your personal life, but they also affect you as a parent, they affect you as a friend, they affect you as a sister, as a brother, as a pastor or a priest, because essentially we are kings and priests of our home, and for some people, congregations and countries and cell groups,
even how you deliver the gospel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people can deliver the gospel, but you can tell that there's a trauma attached to it that hasn't been addressed, and it influences how they
being in a house where I never knew how to communicate my feelings because I was not allowed to negotiate terms. Initially, when somebody asked me why they should tithe, I just told them because you have to.
Yeah, you didn't really have a concrete reason.
I never. You tithe because it's written in the Bible they should tithe, and that was it for me. I never even knew the verses for tithing. So if you don't really communicate, then even how you deliver the gospel is just like that. You tell people this is what you should do, and then if they ask you why, you're like, I don't know.
That's what it says.
Yeah,
that's what I was taught by my spiritual father. And I think a lot of times it's important to be able to ask those hard questions of, okay, we believe in XYZ, why is that? Because like I said in our previous episode, God is not afraid of your questions. And for example, maybe you were abused as a child, or you went through some addiction, whatever it is that you went through, and you wonder even in those moments why, even when you cried out to God, it seemed like He didn't hear you, or it seemed like He didn't take you out of that situation. It's important to have that one-on-one conversation where you can be able to get to understand why it is that you went through this. And obviously nobody should have to go through that, but it's important for you to be able to not be a yes man, but to be somebody who actively, like, when the Bible says, like, look for me, search for me, like, yearn for me, like, that means actively look, like the way you actively look for God, like actively, like you are thirsty to be able to know Him. You will find Him. You will find Him, and in that you'll also find those answers. So in a lot of our upbringings, even as adults, it's important to sort of detach.
All right. What's working for me there? It's okay.
To detach ourselves from the traumas that we have experienced as children and start afresh. It's really, really important, because you might not have liked the way you were raised up, but it doesn't mean that now that should continue to the next generation and now the next generation and the next. Like, you have to call yourself to a meeting and say, okay, this and this and this in my upbringing, I didn't like how my XYZ was violent. I didn't like how this was how there was violence in the house, because for us there was a lot of violence in the house, and it became such second nature to me that it wasn't something alarming. But now, because now we have really fostered a peaceful home, I'm so tuned to the fact that if somebody comes and they're bringing some sort of instability, I don't want, because I've seen what the former can do. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's really, really important to form and to grow yourself and to allow God to be able to mold you to become the kind of person that you're supposed to be, as opposed to just the kind of person who you grew up to be because of, there's a lady who said, one of my biggest achievements as a mother or as a parent will be for my children not to have to recover from my parenting. And that was so deep to me.
Deep.
That was so deep to me. I was like, that means you're being intentional about your parenting.
Yes.
And in case you're not a parent, even right now, the way you are, you're being intentional about reversing. Obviously, there are some things you can't reverse, but unlearning.
Understanding why you act the way you act.
Yes, your trigger points.
Yeah.
Why is it that when somebody talks to you or points out a mistake, you just snap or you just get angry? You have to really go back to the root cause of it and understand why it is that you behave the way you behave, and then now go and learn it, and then relearn a better way. Love is patient, love is kind. The one thing I used to be like, why? Love is it not forbearing? What's his word?
Long suffering.
I was like, no, I don't want long suffering. Please, I'm a baby girl. But love is long suffering in a lot of aspects. So yeah. Do you have anything to add? I want us to end this episode over here. I want us to be doing short and sweet episodes. You get with me, yeah? You get with me? Yeah.
I'd like maybe them to respond and tell us what they understand about the verse that says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Because I've had different understandings of that verse.
Diverse.
So,
They're very relative to different
very
people.
Diverse, yeah. So I'd like to hear from the people. Yes. And anything else regarding character?
I think also let us know in the comment section how your upbringing has molded your kind of character and who you are as a human being and as an adult, as just a person in general. And have you been able to deal with those with those things? Are you still working on it? Because I think even us, we're still working on it.
Yes.
Yeah, every day we catch ourselves in things that we're not supposed to do, and we do better. I think the most important thing about growth, and especially whatever kind of growth, spiritual, mental, emotional, is always to identify when you fall short, and then the next time to just do better.
Yes.
And that's always my thing. Even our kids, they always say, Mom, you can do better. I'm like, yes, I
I will. Cheer. Yeah, cheer.
So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode, and let us know if you'd like us to do more of these. We really enjoy like just sitting down and talking about conversation and giving our opinions as to how we understand that specific topic, and I hope it's being a blessing to you guys. Anything else?
No, that's it. If there's any topic that they'd like us to discuss, then
yeah, just let us know in the comment section and
come
we'll
forth.
Definitely discuss it. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Friends, today's your day. Everyone is coming to you. I will sing for you. I want to see you smile. Cheer. Yo. Cheer.